The CoinSource channel appreciates your continued support. Request from viewer is, who is your favorite CEO and who is the best coin for you? You can also comment your opinion. Thank you to all the subscribers of our CoinSource. Who came to our channel CoinSource? You will always be info with the latest CoinSource news. Number 1, CEO Brad Garlinghouse XRP and Ripple. Number 2, CEO Grayscale SEC. Number 3, CEO JP Morgan Bitcoin. Number 4, CEO Brian Armstrong Coinbase. Please like my video and subscribe my channel. Cryptus is having a really boring day. Feeling well, I hope. At the moment, not much is happening, but Dogecoin has clearly won with a 13% increase. At the same time, the SEC is following its typical procedure of trying to reopen settled disputes by changing its stance. There is no relevance or appropriateness to the title of this article. Problems with a snowball impact. When the SEC asked for Ripple's financials, the company's lawyers argued that the regulator had plenty of time to collect more documents before the deadline. By the way, when was the deadline for this? Actually, that happened in August of the year 2021. In this instance, it seems like they're a little behind schedule. Losing doesn't make it any more important than it would be if they needed this information. I find that pretty strange. They should have demanded and fought for it long ago if it was really necessary. Instead, they appear to be grabbing at anything they can get their hands on. The Council of Ripple Labs have argued that the SEC's request to examine additional financial documents lacks substance. They claim the papers don't matter because the due date has passed. Good news! This location on January 11th is linked to the SEC. Unfortunately, the representative is now obligated to furnish audited financial reports for both FY22 and FY23 per the SEC's request. Provide more details regarding the XRP sales income received by institutions and disclose any agreements concerning the exchange or sale of XRP. However, August 2021 was the deadline for the requesting materials phase of the fact-finding process. If Ripple is to be believed, the SEC had more than enough time to request whatever supplies it desired. In fact, prior to the filing of the lawsuit, the parties had already resolved to dispute over the appropriateness of discovery. The SEC, however, insisted throughout the discovery struggle that everything that happened after the complaint had nothing to do with the case and never once said that anything that happened after the complaint had anything to do with remedies. Beyond that, they neglected to even acknowledge our requirement for this information, despite having it at their disposal prior to the August 2021 deadline. Even after the complaint was filed, they claimed that everything that happened thereafter is irrelevant to the lawsuit. Their first justification was its practicality, but they are now reconsidering. This, once again, is the reason for their fame. Furthermore, their method has been completely disregarded. There is no basis in law or fact for it. I believe that Gary Gensler is at the helm of this behavior, and that they occasionally try to manipulate the court. They are not a group of dissident solicitors or regulators, rather, he is setting a precedent, and the rest of that agency is following it. Tell me what you know. Customers' data was compromised when Trezor fell prey to another crypto attack. Remembering that Trezor seems to be being forthright about it right now, the real issue is that the corporation chose to downplay the gravity of the crime. The Trezor customer care team may have helped anyone who contacted them in December 2021 about the hardware wallet issue. Over 66,000 customers' contact details were exposed in a security breach that Trezor detected on January 17 due to unauthorized access to a third-party support service. Anyone using Trezor and has contacted the support team since December 2021 should be worried that their data was compromised in this event. Your contact information, name, and the fact that you use Trezor to invest in cryptocurrency can be used to create more convincing phishing attacks, making users think the communication is from a trustworthy source. Everyone knows exactly who I am. They click on a link. They will quickly lose all of their cryptocurrencies if they act in this way, so be on the lookout. Remember that no matter how official-looking any wackadoo emails may seem, I will not be clicking on any links in them. I will go ahead and look at the website. If I need that information, I will get right to the source. In this world, you can never trust anything. Obviously, this event has only compromised your personal information and has not affected anyone's money or the security of their hardware wallet. I feel obligated to say that it's not just really crucial. It may be dangerous to us, but it won't affect how the hardware wallet works. This is important, listen up. Use tremendous care whenever you open an attachment or click on a link in an email, regardless of your familiarity with this type of exploit. You must have protections in place to avoid being a victim of these types of assaults because they can strike at the most inconvenient moments. For market players, the Bitcoin halving has been a watershed moment. For others, the advent of Bitcoin exchange-traded funds (ETFs) would disrupt the havening cycle and more. Are the forthcoming spot Bitcoin ETFs going to have any kind of effect on this pattern? Cryptocurrencies are in constant demand and supply, but a big event like Bitcoin halvening diminishes the latter. Things that repeat in mystical patterns tend to annoy me. So, it works, as far as I'm concerned. Despite my lack of confidence in its magical abilities, I think you should give this instrument your full attention now that the ETF haze has lifted. The next big event, the Bitcoin halvening, may now take center stage. Most of the events we're looking forward to on our calendar don't typically see a lot of price action on the day of the event, in this case, the halvening. However, it does alter things in the overall perspective. In my view, it is also an impact of the occurrence. On the day it happens, you won't be doing anything, thus you probably won't see Bitcoin's skyrocketing climb. It does, however, change a crucial indication. From my point of view, it does have an effect with time. On top of that, the amount of time it takes for that effect to show is usually quite brief. Everything that has transpired over the last 100 days is clearly related to Bitcoin bull runs, and the Bitcoin event is rapidly approaching. On the other hand, this one might be unique. Most of the time, it's different in ways that we can't even begin to imagine. In contrast, this one has maintained a reasonable level of consistency. Since it's more than just a pattern, your actions are actually affecting the Bitcoin supply, which in turn affects the actions of several other players in the sector, including miners. Its significance lies in this very reason. We should expect this to affect market cycles as supply falls and demand rises. As far as we can tell from past events, there appears to be a 5-step process: a little correction, a consolidation phase, a big bull run, a check, and finally, a sharp correction. Many of these things, including wild price swings and precipitous declines, will likely level out over time, in my opinion. When something becomes widely accepted, a lot of things start to fade away. Our journey is far from over. The beginning stages of this have not yet passed. On top of that, I think the cryptocurrency market will be extremely unpredictable for the foreseeable future. The next logical step, given the operational and trading status of Bitcoin ETFs, is to include options. They are now trying to impose other options. Potentially far-reaching effects might result from this. They say this about the crypto market all the time, but it's also true of traditional markets. Of course, there's a lot of opportunity for manipulation there. We have experience with options trading. Gary Gensler may deny it, but even the traditional financial sector is rife with manipulators. Following CBOE's January 5 filing with the SEC to provide options related to the Bitcoin exchange-traded commodity, we may anticipate options from Celsius Network, which is gearing up to sell 56.8 billion tokens of Polygon formative geometry token automation, transferring the tokens, which are currently worth 44.5 million, to exchanges as part of the promise it made to replay consumers affected by its collapse. We must come to terms with this in order to proceed. During the last crypto bull run, several companies went insolvent. These businesses will have to liquidate a large portion of their crypto assets, worth 56 million amatic right now, in order to satisfy their creditors' demands for repayment. Would it have far-reaching consequences for the Bitcoin business or cause a market crash? No. Sales are certain to increase, though, because this is far from the final item we'll deal with. This is essential for winding down some of these failing companies and paying off their creditors, but the original investors, whose excitement was probably overblown, will probably get very little in return. It was a wise decision to store my cryptocurrency on Celsius. They eventually pass out. My cryptocurrency should be returned to me before anything else. The end goal shouldn't be payment. Celsius creditors pretend that my insolvency is totally their fault. Congress must immediately address the current issue of its ineffectiveness as property. Finally, here's a prediction for the XRP price. From Bitcoin fanatic. Unsurprisingly, Max Kaiser believes that XRP will decline. Bitcoin coin backer Max Kaiser, who is known to be critical of other cryptocurrencies, recently made headlines for his prediction of the value of XRP's decline. While publicly criticizing XRP on Twitter and predicting its price collapse to 1 cent, he referred to it as centralized garbage. Regrettably, when XRP is at its lowest, there are rarely any huge rebounds or smashing deals. This will not transpire. We're heading to a stage where this man takes great pleasure in amplifying the anger of others. Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments section. Kindly continue to subscribe and like. Until we meet again, goodbye.